What a brat! If my son talked like that, I'd beat him to within an inch of his life. I'd whip him senseless with my belt. I'd hold his head in the toilet till he was begging for mercy. I still don't see why the judge cut off my visitation rights.
But first, this video is sponsored by Fume, a better alternative to what you're using. Vaping, smoking, nah. Flavored air is Fume's specialty. Stress and boredom leaves you reaching for bad habits. Instead, use Fume. No nicotine, no vapor, just flavor to satisfy your cravings. Fume is sleek and portable, built from a premium wooden design and a magnetic fidget toy to twiddle around with. Tons of different flavors to choose from, like spearmint ice, I love anything icy, or crisp mint. With over 500,000 users making the switch to Fume, it can be part of your habit-changing journey if you're ready. You can order a journey pack with the code RebelTaxi, which includes a free Fume topper that'll enhance your experience. Use the QR code or go to tryfume.com/RebelTaxi. You can order a journey pack with the code RebelTaxi, which will include a free Fume topper that'll enhance your experience. Again, use the code RebelTaxi or go to tryfume.com/RebelTaxi. It's Fume!
Big bad boys from outer space. Get a body slam, the human race. Wrestlers race to our defense with strength and speed and flatulence.
Much like a stripper's love or a political YouTuber's beliefs, wrestling's fake, but no one cares. All those have fun characters, overly dramatic storylines, and cool acrobatics. Ever seen a bread tuber do a flip? All those elements in wrestling are what you love about battle shonen animes and fighting games. Mixing those all together is Kinnikuman. Translating to Muscle Man, I never truly appreciated this series, but you know who else didn't appreciate this series? That too, but also Americans. This is among the most influential mangas that the US anime fans never really thought about, and it led to the best dub 4Kids ever produced. The bar's kinda low, but they proudly stepped over it without tripping.
Something must be stepping up his strength. And I know it can't be steroids. His urine tested clean.
This is the legacy of Kinnikuman, but mainly its continuation, Kinnikuman Nisei, aka Ultimate Muscle. Helping me research this video was the anime hero who knows way more about this stuff than I do. If I get anything wrong, blame him. It's Juice and Jam time! Kinnikuman was created by Yudetamago, a manga duo composed of Yoshinori Nakai and Takashi Shimada, two childhood friends who wrote and drew together in the 60s. Their first impression of each other was not what you'd expect from lifelong friends starting off in the 4th grade.
I transferred to Shimada's school when I was in 4th grade. We had a physical fitness exam where we had to throw a softball and there was this guy who couldn't throw at all. I thought, I've never seen a guy who throws so badly. That was my impression.
I'm no good at ball sports. I was kind of the class clown, so everybody thought I was joking around, but I was really trying my best. Then a little later, there was a shrine festival in the neighborhood, and children got paid about 500 yen, about $5, to help carry the shrine through the streets. I didn't sign up, but I was watching from my room, Nakai struggling to carry the shrine, and I thought, wow, he really needs the money.
Okay, maybe that is how lifelong friends do start. During junior high, the duo had a love for kaiju films, manga, and wrestlers, both from Japan and America, like Terry Funk and Abdullah the Butcher, who've crossed over there.
So when he steps into the ring with me, I am going to molest him.
The kids even did some wrestling between classes. Shimada may not be able to throw a ball, but he was good at grappling. During middle school, they already came up with their own fictional wrestler in their notebooks, Kinnikuman, the Muscle Man. They describe him as a wish fulfillment character, not a person you want to be, but want to hang out around with. They held on to Kinniku for years as they grew up. In 1979, he was published in Shonen Jump magazine. As big of an honor as that was, this was also kinda stressful.
We were pretty nervous. I thought maybe I should get a regular job instead.
People around us kept asking if we could really make a living off this stuff.
Our editor at the time, Shigeo Nishimura, promised to find us jobs so we couldn't make it as mangaka. There aren't many mangakas out there who were promised a real job if they failed.
That's true, he personally came to Osaka to see us. He found us in an apartment in Tokyo and arranged everything for us, but I basically lived for 3 years in the writer's room they used to have at their office.
The creative field is not known for job security or dental or any form of insurance. I love being a YouTuber, spread my videos around, it's all I have. So, how did M.U.S.C.L.E turn out?
Go! Go! M.U.S.C.L.E! リングに稲妻走り
With over 300 chapters and multiple animes made, Kinniku was possibly a success. These guys were still in high school when they published him. It was so impressive that another creator saw this thinking about his own artistic abilities. Instead of drawing as a hobby, he decided to make an art career, and that's how he got JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Yes, Araki, he even designed a minor character for an art book of Kinniku, Mikey the Mike Man. What's not to love about Kinnikuman? He's a goofy slob of a hero on Earth who finds out he's a prince of another planet. Kinda like a Japanese Superman. I can't think of any other Japanese characters that could be Superman's equivalent, can you? Shut up. Yeah, he's got the muscle, but fighting monsters leads to him causing more damage. No one respects him, especially with him smelling like garlic and farting in the air. Huh. I wonder if that inspired anything. Hell, many manga writers cited Kinniku as an inspiration. The creators of Assassination Classroom, Fairy Tail, Full Metal Alchemist, and Yu Yu Hakusho. Wikipedia claims Hakusho became more focused on martial arts and action, all because the creator saw Kinnikuman do it. Go from one-off stories to full-on multi-episode battles. That's a bold claim on Wikipedia, so I tracked down the 2 magazines cited. It was not in Jump, though a fan pointed me to Jump Ryu, a publication interviewing artists. Turns out, yes, Hakusho's creator looked up to Kinnikuman for story influence. Makes sense, feels like the early Yu Yu Hakusho is a totally different story from all the dark tournament stuff later on. All the drama and wild powers of a modern battle shonen, Kinniku was among the first giving us stupid-ass specific powers, and it was a parody of Ultraman. Giant monsters would invade and Kinniku would turn gigantic to fend them off. If you're wondering about his atrocious head shape and Homer Simpson lips, well, Kinniku's is wearing a flesh-colored mask, and that dorsal fin is also a reference to Ultraman's head. In the original test pilot manga, Kinniku was the bastard son of Ultra, thus breaching copyright. Though that became no longer canon after the series began full production, yet Ultra was often referenced throughout. Kinniku would steal his special moves, or there'd be lore about a villain kicking Ultra's ass. Oh wait, no, it's not Ultraman, it's Ultraman? My mistake. It's kinda like how the Ninja Turtles were once mutated by the same chemicals that blinded Daredevil. The Turtles being a comic made by 2 buddies also. Much like Jax in Mortal Kombat 3, over time the series would kinda forget everyone could turn gigantic and instead focus on human-sized galactic wrestling. My Kinniku expert, the anime hero, tells me these early stories were like Silver Age Superman comics. Back then they'd make up all sorts of powers Supes no longer uses, like hypnotism, kisses that erase memories, or shape-shifting his face. I'm selling these to the Daily Planet, sucker! Sometimes you gotta try new things and realize, this is stupid. Remember when I had a nose?
牛丼一筋300年早いのうまいの安いの
From the first episode of the 1983 series, Kinniku's eager to be a hero, especially if it brings him money and girls, though he's pretty bad at it. It's gotten so embarrassing the Japanese government warned that if he tried any heroics, they'll fry his ass. Instead, Japan imports Texas-based hero Terry Man, and like any good Texan, he's heavily armed.
Pocket sand!
During a monster attack, a kid asks for help. Terry is willing to save the boy's father, though he's gonna want some payment up front. Whatever cash the boy's got is not enough. Back to the coal mines with you, kid.
お父さんを助けに行こう坊や。 待て、筋肉マン。お前はもうお払い箱。つまり国外追放者だ。行けば地球防衛軍の攻撃を受けるぞ。大和魂が守ってくれるさ。行くぞ、ミト。
The hell with that guy. Kinniku grows to monster size and takes things into his own hands. We don't even see him defeat the monster, the episode cuts off before. All we see is his determination as he rides and beats off the creature like a $2 whore on Half Price Tuesday. That's enough to alter Terry Man's greedy ways. It's noble of Kinniku, though future episodes still have him pretty self-centered, seeking fame, money, women. He can be downright abusive at times. Also, I do not trust him around women. Like, please tell me that's just a very short woman, please. Muscle Man, no! Oh, what is this, Canada? Muscle Man, come on, bro. What are you doing? You can't do that anymore. It's not Halloween yet. Every moment with Muscle Man is a shit post, like episode 6. Some cute college girls invite him to a fan club dedicated to him. He can't resist these girls, but turns out these were his villains in disguise. I'd call him gullible, but I'd fall for the same thing. They trap him in a cage, but he's broken out by a monster who's secretly in love with him. With her help, he runs off as the villains slip on some gasoline spilled by his lover. So, this is the perfect time for Kinniku to use his Ultraman reference laser and light those bastards up. Yeah, the manga was even more brutal. Again, just like Yu Yu Hakusho, the series starts off with one-off adventures and evolves into big multi-episode battles, a format shonen animes never gave up on. Endless conflicts between characters ranging from so damn cool to flat-out stupid or a mix of the two. There's the black hole who can submerge himself in the shadows, channeling the fourth dimension. You have a cassette player that can imitate other people's moves he's recorded. Or a Nazi who suffocates his opponents with toxic gas. Oofies? Don't worry, this Chinese man flattens and folds his body together, turning him into a whole bunch of noodles that he rolls up and cuts. That's how World War II ended. While some episodes take place in the middle of a match, you can basically select some random story and have a good time watching these weirdos go at it. Kinnikuman's anime would go on to make over 130 episodes, cancel in the 80s, continue in the 90s, cancel again, and return 32 years later on Netflix, plus the Ultimate Muscle sequel series. This show never quits, and the two childhood friends from the 60s are still buddies. Kinniku has probably existed longer than any of your favorite animes, even longer than Dragon Ball. Too bad we never got most of those in America. Instead, we got the toys.
Of the muscle things. They've come to drive America nuts. They're ugly, they're weird, they're tiny, and they're pink!
While the anime was too violent and weird for us stupid Americans who thought the Ninja Turtles made a lot of sense, the toys were sold here. Kinnikuman had a westernized rebrand called M.U.S.C.L.E. Millions of unusual small creatures lurking everywhere. Oh god, they're in my skin.
I mean, what the fuck is a muscle?
Wrestling was big in the 80s, so they imported a line of rubber capsule toys and games, but not the cartoon itself. They advertised these guys like little garbage pail kids or gremlins with collectible trash cans to store them in. Perfect, because that's where parents will dump them if a kid hadn't already eaten them. With over 200 muscle toys made, these were inexpensive figures that were popular in the 80s. This includes a 2015 nostalgia phase. Newer muscle toys sold in stores, offering crossovers with He-Man, WWE, Mega Man, and more. For the longest time, this was all the Kinniku media my demographic got, though we did get its sequel series.
Muscle has the power. He's also kind of nuts. This guy could save the universe.
If he only had some guts.
Released in 2002, 19 years after the original series premiered, was a continuation following the son of Kinnikuman. This is Mantaro Kinniku, or Kid M.U.S.C.L.E story. A 16-year-old, that is not a 16-year-old, come on, what are they serving in the cafeterias? Kid M.U.S.C.L.E was born during a time of peace in the galaxy. Lazy, spoiled, and living off the wealth of his father who became King M.U.S.C.L.E on the planet M.U.S.C.L.E. The kid's a coward and not willing to fight or study his homework. He'd rather look at magazines with fully clothed women. Nice. No, it's not a 4Kids edit. That's how it was in Japan.
So this is my bar mitzvah?
Ay vey! You're not even Chinese!
Kinniku's planet is safe, but on Earth, they've been invaded by the DMP, the demon-making plant, bringing destruction, mayhem, and pain. They're a legion of evil taking over the Earth by wrestling. They would have challenged the Earth to a game of basketball, but they knew we had the Looney Tunes on standby. War were declared as all the wrestlers from the old Kinniku series must save the day. Oh, wait, they're kind of old and fat and dicks don't work and smell bad and shop at Ross Dress for Less and drive a Harley. Well, like most elderly issues, it becomes their kids' problems. Good news, boys, we're bringing back military drafts.
What are you not?
Kid M.U.S.C.L.E, along with the second generation, must save the Earth. Now, this section of the vid will mainly focus on the American cut, which I own the SD Blu-ray of. If you want to watch the uncut Japanese version, there's some fan subs said to be inaccurate uploaded somewhere online. That's all you get.
And now you'll pay for it. Go, Trans Sneaker!
Ultimate is just like the old show, endless battles against superhumans, both cool or stupid. Royal Knights, Nokia cell phones, toilets, ass. One of my favorite baddies was Dead Signal, I think that's a costume.
It's not a costume. They found me inside a meteor.
Dead Signal is a lawful evil robot with hypnotic street signs. Stop signs pause his opponent, turn signals alter their trajectory, and the sign on his head spins like a buzzsaw, mutilating anyone nearby. Happens a lot in Detroit. How can our hero Kid M.U.S.C.L.E disobey these hypnotic traffic signs? Register for a driver's license in New York? No, by painting his own signs all over the ring. Run this under a black light and this be a JoJo fight.
Sorry, no punching!
Another favorite of mine was Cleone Man, Hydrazoa, a transparent water man inspired by actual Cleones, these little sea angels that... Oh, what the... So, besides the transparent water effects, Hydrazoa can morph his body into a jumbo magnifying glass. He can even absorb the opponent and drown them in his own water. It's not a fetish thing, I swear. Fuck, I hate minorities.
What the?
One major setback for production is the animation. Action scenes can amount to a bunch of PNGs rotating and sliding around. It's like an episode of Baki. Trying to animate these highly detailed characters is agonizing, but one sort of benefit to the lack of flexibility is making these characters feel heavy and indestructible. I look at these guys and think, damn, I gotta work out, I gotta bulk up, I gotta hustle muscle, and yet I never do. I'm just gonna sit here and play a game for an hour, and then play a different game for an hour, never completing any of them. Oh, look. This GameCube muscle game features Panda Man. He was part of a collab of various industry artists designing Kinniku wrestlers for fun. This was in 1998, just a year after Panda's artist had begun publishing his biggest manga ever, which features Panda Man as a recurring background Easter egg. That manga being One Piece.
Pizza shit.
With my rice, I like to have some cow. It tastes so very good, I don't know how.
We'll be back after these messages.
That kid in the straw hat is no ordinary human.
One Piece will continue in a moment on Toonami.
You're watching Kirby in the Fox Box. Stay tuned for back-to-back bouts as wrestling gets wacky. An hour of Ultimate Muscle is next.
Welcome back, wrestling fans, to the semi-final match between Ascara and Jaeger.
Ascara's been on the attack for the past hour, but Jaeger just keeps bobbing and weaving.
Stop!
It takes frequent shortcuts, but there's tons of creative action, personalities, and humor. That's what keeps me around. As with televised wrestling, it's a full-on soap opera with morally gray characters shifting sides. These fighters are all part of their own factions, but they sort of have regulations and some respect for each other.
Even though they were our enemies, we respected them as rivals. There is no denying the Kinnikuman legacy.
By the way, if you played the crossover fighting game Tatsunoko vs. Capcom, just want to say Gold Lighten in that game is not the same as this guy, Sunshine. They were created near the same time, and Kinniku was known for parodying other heroes or wrestlers, so it could be an intentional reference. Now, 4Kids Entertainment gets a bad rep. They've taken shows meant for teenagers and trimmed them down for kids, but Ultimate Muscle is a bit different. It was made in the early years of 4Kids, so it's a surprisingly edgier dub.
See, I know all your secrets, Dad. Even about that one time that you put on Mom's clothing and she wrestled you into submission dressed as Buffalo Man.
And we thought you were sleeping!
This is a wrestling anime, so a lot of hits and red scratches on the skin are still in there. After all, the manga wasn't even published in Shonen Jump. Instead, Japanese weekly Playboy. You know, I've actually written 2 articles for Playboy. True story, I don't think I ever got paid. Kinnikuman's creative duo were unsure about writing for Playboy. Yeah, the fans of the old series were adults, but they don't know if this is where the audience was looking. Once published, the readers came anyway. It is Playboy after all.
Now this is what I call a sign! Thank you, Wally!
What's this? Duck, can you describe what we're seeing here?
Not without making my wife mad!
Thanks to Playboy, this manga included way more blood, dismemberment, sexual humor, and girls. Even the uncut Japanese anime was not that extreme, so the US dub was minimal on censorship. It also added endless groan-worthy dad puns, and they turned Muscle's trainer, Meat, from a small boy to a Danny DeVito type like his character in Hercules or Rocky's trainer, Mickey.
You are a spitting image of King Muscle!
Alright, they erased any Japanese forehead symbols in this dub. Many character names were also changed. Some I'd argue are even better. Whether to be more funny or less violent, Japan's Canadian boy became the Knuckler. I love it. Telltale Boy is now Diabolic. Kinkatsu Man translates to Skin and Bones Man, but 4Kids named him Skullduggery. It flows better. Gazelle Man turned into Dick Van Dyke, like I guess a reference to comedian Dick Van Dyke. If I was in charge of this anime, I'd call him Dick Vangina and stop serving him after 11 a.m. The list of altered names goes on. Thankfully, Kid Muscle does acknowledge the history of Kinnikuman. Early on, his signature move was the Butt Buster. I thought that was a 4Kids edit. Anything that sounds Japanese is usually replaced by the dubbing company. Names become Americanized. But as the son of King Muscle learns about his legacy, in English, Kid Muscle proudly renames the move within the show. It's no longer the Butt Buster or the Jelly Donut Buster, it's the Kinniku Buster! Oddly, 4Kids did censor out some urination jokes. Kid Muscle would piss and fart himself, like a whole-ass waterfall of piss spurting out every so often. Man was chugging dew. Only some piss made it through uncut, though. This urination was more integral to the story, so maybe that's why it was left in. So often I watch a movie thinking, damn, we never see the characters like cough or stutter or go to the bathroom. Well, here, Ultimate Muscle was changing cinema for the better.
When the rope gets stretched out nice and tight like a G-string on a guitar.
Now, with a franchise throwing 1,000 wild characters into the ring, some of them were deemed a bit offensive, like this Confederate flag wrestler who was recolored to be fully red. Or, remember that German Nazi guy? He has a son now. Well, in Japan, they were biologically unrelated, though still very close. They start evil, but become more remorseful towards their past, as they feature a tragic backstory.
Jäger, my nephew, I'll be in the hospital for a few days. While I'm gone, make me proud.
Oh, come on, I know for sure that's an edit. Hey, Peter, I'm gonna go check into the hospital for a bit. See you later. Don't do anything crazy. Oh, gee whiz, Uncle Ben. Get well soon. Back in my day, I was always waking up early for cartoons, switching between Foxbox and Kids WB. Some of my favorites were Pokemon, Kirby, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Mew Mew Power, mainly since I like the girls. Mint was my favorite because she was rich and I wanted to be a trophy husband. So Ultimate M.U.S.C.L.E wasn't in my top tier, but it was pretty close. I found it really funny back then. With my new love of grown-worthy puns, I think I like it now more than ever. It's a lot of fun, but according to the co-creator Shimada, the manga sold well while the TV show bombed in Japan. Ultimate M.U.S.C.L.E was kind of a failure in viewership. Although, somehow, this reboot series to a Japanese show Americans never watched became a bigger success here. It was gonna end after the classic 52-episode rule, but news dropped that an extra 25 would be created specifically for American viewing standards. So, less inappropriate material, which there really wasn't that much to begin with. Though, one of their ways of hiding too much violence was showing a character shatter into 6 trillion pieces all over the floor. Well, why did that happen? The Anime News Network article announcing these new episodes even speculated these won't be broadcasted in Japan. Here's another one for my list of Japanese things Americans care more about than Japan. 4Kids funded this new season, yet they never brought over the 2 muscle movies for whatever reason. Someday I hope a company like Discotech will make at least an official sub translation. It could happen, please? While it went on longer than most shows, Ultimate M.U.S.C.L.E eventually retired as the manga carried on. No spoilers, but the TV finale just abruptly ends. I won't say who Kid faces, but as the match ends, a surprise character pops in and we don't get any closure, it just cuts off.
It's over, fini!
There's no somber, seeing what the champion does after winning, no characters retiring, having a family, going to Disneyland. The fight's done, go home, credits. Well, considering the other series kept getting revivals, this was more of a smell you later. As for the manga, it had a different winner as more story arcs came after, like the Demon Seed arc. This was the return of a once-dead villain from the original Kinnikuman, Akuma Shogun. He revives himself by stealing the body of Kid M.U.S.C.L.'s trainer, Meat. Meat is ripped into pieces, which happens a lot in this franchise. Offering a deal with the devil, a heel team of wrestlers grows even stronger. Kid M.U.S.C.L. and his opponent from the TV finale would have to work together, though the dynamic would change since the opposite character loses in the manga. The battle takes them inside Akuma Shogun's statue. Within is a wrestling ring sitting on top of a massive set of internal organs and bones, held together with a spinal column made of fallen heroes. Kid would have to climb the corpses of these heroes to reach the ring. In this arc, there's stories of animals tortured, a father killing his own son, and villains working for the good guys. For reasons unknown, 4Kids had no interest in continuing this storyline, and that was the end of Ultimate M.U.S.C.L. After 2006, the Kinnikuman franchise would take a break from animation as the manga continued. After 18 years of no cartoons, Kinnikuman would return in 2024, presenting Perfect Origin Arc. This would be a continuation of the 1980s show, as well as starting from the manga arc of the same name. Animated by Production IG, who gave you Ghost in the Shell and Psycho-Pass, this is the best the franchise ever looked. Animated action scenes that are actually animated and not a bunch of sliding PNGs. Also, like the manga, it's able to do way more violence than before.
Jesus Christ!
While the Japanese love this show, American Netflix viewers have ignored it. Co-creator Shimada even made several tweets at the lack of Western viewership. The man was influenced by wrestlers from Japan and the US, so I can see him feeling unloved by us. He mentions possibly retiring the manga scene since he doesn't know what sells, but he clarifies he's not ready for that. Now, hold on, maybe there is hope for the Western Hemisphere. Is Kinnikuman popular in Mexico? Oh, buddy, it's so over. You're Dunzo Abe. So, what's preventing this show from catching on here? Despite the show being called Perfect Origin Arc, this show does not really establish anything. The first 2 episodes are an info dump and flashbacks saying, hey, remember that scene from 40 years ago? Well, we remastered it. Nostalgic to the East, but for an obscure to the US franchise put on Netflix, making this the most accessible entry point, it's a terrible first introduction. So much drama here relies on being attached to these historic characters. As with the second episode, there's so much dialogue explaining stuff that could have been trimmed down. I was thinking about dropping out if the rest of the series was like this, but midway through episode 2 is what you're looking for. Enough backstory, it's another invasion of high-level Chojin wrestlers. Matchup after matchup of crazy powers. Because these fights involve side characters, it creates more suspense. You sure as hell know the main character's gonna win, hopefully. But with side characters versus villains, the winner could be anyone. As for the humor, well, the wrestlers are still goofy, but most of it's played straight and overly serious. Considering this is part of the same continuity of the old 80s show, now with ultraviolence, this would be like if Teen Titans Go Season 40 was that edgy Titans live-action series. Fuck Batman. Lighting up the mood is Kinnikuman himself, who's barely in his own show for Season 1, but when he is, he's still bumbling around. Honestly, I like this balance of melodrama peppered with Kinniku's comic relief. It kinda gets you to appreciate him even more. I watched the first season for this vid, while more were made after. It was a fun time, but yeah, Americans are just not gonna care. Netflix announced about 80 to 90% of their watchers prefer dubbed anime. Perfect Origin is subtitled only, and again, Eclipse Show is a terrible first episode for newcomers. At least save it for the second episode.
Why are we walking like this?
I think back to a similar anime I grew to really like, Baki, another long-running franchise of wild powers and ridiculous characters. It was published in 1991. For the West, it was pretty unknown, even for anime fans here. Though, that all changed in 2018 when a new anime was dubbed on Netflix. Despite this Baki series not being an origin story and starting at some random point in the manga, I couldn't tell. I followed along as they did this thing called introducing characters and putting them in the context of a story. It's not just them saying, hey, remember 1991?
Baki. You know what that means, don't you?
We'll be back after these messages.
Officially begun, with Kid Muscle and Checkmate staring each other down.
This has gotta be getting pretty painful.
Pain? I know not.
What? You don't know about pain?
Because of my special training, Checkmate can't even feel pain!
No pain!
And that means...
I can't win!
Cut to the chase, Checkmate! What are you trying to say?
King Muscle and the Muscle League were never powerful champions.
It looks like Kid Muscle is down for the count!
You gotta defend your name! Without it, you ain't worth squat!
You don't get it! Even though they were our enemies, we respected them as rivals. There is no denying the Kinnikuman legacy.
What was that? Did you see what I saw, Doc?
If his spirit is strong, if his heart is pure, if we all still believe in him, he can keep on fighting!
Sir, that's ultimate muscle.
You may never feel the pain, but you'll also never feel the joys of life, friendship, honor, rice with time.
Shut up!
It's my turn to be the hero. I love you, Dad.
But when King Muscle took charge of the M.U.S.C.L.E League, they became the mightiest wrestling team in the entire universe.
This deadly combination will never be bested in battle. It is the ultimate, the Grand Slam!
Ultimate Muscle has made a colossal comeback!
It can take decades for Westerners to discover peak. I know Kinnikuman has that chance. Yeah, it's true people want to gatekeep their favorite animes from normies and stuff since they're annoying, but I spend time outside the internet, so I don't really care. I am craving to see more merch, cosplays, or muscle toys become more common here, but what you gonna do? The old show and manga only have bootleg fan translations you gotta scour for. Ultimate Muscle is on Blu-ray and involves a totally different set of characters in the future. That Blu-ray is the English version. The uncut Japanese doesn't exist beyond inaccurate fan subs on bootleg sites. As of now, Netflix Perfect Origin is the most accessible to watch. People just need to get over the first 2 episodes. You'll still feel left out at some history, but anyone that enjoys Baki would love this. If the creators want more Americans to love Kinniku, it just needs to be more accessible. If that never happens, they can at least be thankful many of our favorite animes would not have existed without them. Over 40 years of anime would not have been the same without the duo Yudetamago.
Mark my words, you got what it takes to be a star, Kid Muscle. I get the feeling this is the start of something big.
Don't give up. Challenge again.
Just what is Ultimate Muscle? This is Ultimate Muscle!
More Ultimate moves from Ultimate Muscle every Saturday morning, only in the Fox Box.
I'm Mr. Computer Image.
Thanks to our sponsor, Fumes. Fume it up. Use my QR code.